Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I should be reading a piece uh, of classical work, which is highbrow, to say the least. And my novel, Zombie Bratwurst in the Daddy Hole of Death. What the fuck? Anyway, here we go. Chapter 1. This fucking book. Benny's mother had always told him to leave his bumhole alone, ever since he had been 10, and she'd walked into his bedroom one bright summer's day and found him inserting a bright red 8x1 whole Lego piece into his anus, the hard piece of plastic on its way to joining the multicoloured assortment already there. An expensive hospital visit involving a local anaesthetic, a rectal retractor, and some forceps later, and a young Benny had been back home, sitting on a foam donut, while his mother had chastised him and his father had watched with disgust as he smoked his pipe. Benny hadn't listened to a word that she'd said. Over the course of the next 29 years, Benny had inserted almost anything that you could imagine into his well-used anus. Dildos, potatoes, rolling pins, boiled eggs, a fluorescent light tube, an ear trumpet, a cucumber, a flashlight, a full-size hearing aid, and more, several of which required surgery to remove. The guinea pig had been the last straw. An actor had seen him sacked from the pet store, arrested, and sentenced to 5 years in county. It had been well incarcerated that the middle-class, road-hound and gentle Caucasian had discovered, thanks to the very accommodating and friendly prisoners at shower time, that his anal obsession was nothing to do with his desire to be fucked by a man, although his years of experimentation had ensured he suffered no permanent damage while being swapped for cigarettes. It was while locked away that he had been sent for sessions with a prison psychiatrist, who had talked to him at length about his condition, something that he said was called... I wrote the book, I can't fucking say the word. Anyway, namely the insertion of foreign bodies into a person's own orifices. And so the months had slowly turned into years, and with time off for good behaviour, Benny had waved a fond farewell to the grieving inmates of the wing who had found him so very accommodating over the past 4 years, and was released back into the community. The work of Dr. Astor had cured him. He was a changed man. Until he was left alone in the butcher's cold room at the supermarket where he worked the graveyard shift, face to face with a Cheddar and Carolina Reaper-infused bratwurst named the Explosion, which was only 10 centimetres in length but had an 8-inch circumference. It had been talking back at him for hours, taunting and teasing him with ideas and scenarios as he tried to work, his mind reeling as he pictured them all. Of course, the bratwurst was doing no such thing. After all, it was a fucking bratwurst. Yet in the mind of Benny, the spicy hot Soviet sausage was talking smack as he stared down at where it lay upon the table amid the smaller sausages that had just arrived and were ready to be sliced for the store, speaking in a thick Russian accent. I can see you looking at me, Benny. You want me, don't you? Shut up. He shook his head, one hand raised to adjust the glasses on his face with shaky fingers. No, the bratwurst teased. You don't mean it. Stop being coy. I do. Benny turned away and picked up the checklist and pen that he had dropped in shock when he had first seen the mammoth piece of meat. No, you want me, comrade. I can tell. Shut up! Benny rounded on it, pointing with a pen. Stop talking to me like this, or you're going to get me in trouble. Trouble? The bratwurst gave a laugh that made Benny's gut lurch. Naughty boy. What? No, stop it now. I mean it. Ha-ha. Playing hard to get. Hard to get? Benny's voice was almost a shriek as he took a step back. I'm not playing hard to get. I knew it, the bratwurst chuckled. Slut. Wait, that's it. He threw the clipboard and pen down, his cheeks flushed with colour. One more word out of you and you'll be going in the slicer. The slicer? There was amusement in the voice of the bratwurst. Why? Your arsehole isn't a money box. Oh my God, will you stop being weird? I'm not being weird, the Soviet sausage gave a chuckle. I'm stating facts. You want me, I can tell. No, look, stop. Ooh. Look how girthy I am. Look, shut up. Go on, Benny. Why not drop your trousers now and stick me right up your... Will you stop flirting with me? Benny shouted, a finger pointing at the bratwurst. I'm not going to stick you up my arsehole, okay? Benny? The confused voice from the other side of the cold room had him spinning to face it, his stomach lurching as he found Harry, his boss and friend of 3 years, standing just inside the heavy plastic strips that kept the cold in. Is everything okay? What? Benny gave a nervous laugh. Harry blinked, glanced over at the table, then let his gaze drift slowly about the room before settling on Benny once more. Are you alone? Yeah, of course I'm alone. Harry winced. You know it's against company policies to allow friends or family or dates into the back of the shop area, right? Sure, Benny nodded, feeling sick. Yeah. Harry seemed uncomfortable. Benny, you were shouting some weird things just now. Weird things? Benny swallowed the tightness in his throat, his gaze drifting back to the bratwurst, only to find that it was lying silently in its packaging, like the sausage that it was. Then he nodded and clicked his fingers together as an idea occurred to him. Oh, I was doing some lines. Benny! Harry's voice was a gasp. You know the store's policy on drugs? What? Benny made a face, realised what it had sounded like, and gave a laugh that came out sounding forced. No, not coke lines. Jesus, Harry, no, I mean lines like from a play. A play? Yeah, a play. Harry nodded slowly. You are in a play. Me? Oh, yeah, that's right. Benny nodded at him, trying to lean casually on the table. I am. All right, cool. What's it called? Called? The play you're in, what's it called? There's a Soviet sausage in my shitter, the bratwurst announced from the table, and cursing, Benny rushed to stand before it, one finger rising to point. Right, no more bratwurst, he began, then froze as only he had heard its voice. Benny? Harry watched him in concern. Oh, don't mind me. Benny turned to grin at him, one hand snatching an 8-inch chorizo from the table to hang before his face as if it were a microphone. It's just one of the numbers I have to perform. And it's called Wait No More Bratwurst. Benny gave a nod, still holding the chorizo before him. Yeah, it's a vegan musical. A vegan musical. Yeah. So what's it called? Much of Benny's horror, his boss now sounded interested. My girlfriend's a vegan, I might take her. It's called, uh, well, it's called Sunset on Bratwurst Boulevard. On the other side of the room, Harry frowned, his mouth opening as if he were about to start asking even more questions. And taking a deep breath, Benny began to sing into the chorizo that it was holding. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. No more meat for me. Bratwurst blues are starting to stay. That's the tune of New York by Sinatra, isn't it? Harry raised an eyebrow, and Benny placed the chorizo back down before nodding. Oh, yeah, well spotted. Yeah, it's kind of a tribute act to the Rat Pack, too. You know, Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin. Harry blinked. A Rat Pack vegan musical. Yeah, that's right. Cool. Harry sent him a broad smile. Listen, I need all these specialty meats sliced on the shop floor before your shift ends in the morning. Oh, and snag me a couple of tickets for this vegan musical. My girlfriend's going to love it. Okay, yeah, sure. Good man. Harry threw him a wink, started to depart back through the plastic strips, only to stop as if remembering something. Oh, fuck me. What is it? Harry dragged a piece of paper from a pocket and unfolded it, then stepped towards Benny. Is there a big old bratwurst with this lot? It's called the Explosion. Oh, I'm not sure. Benny turned to face the table, aware of Harry moving alongside him. There it is, the boss chuckled. Jesus, look at the size of that thing. It's a fucking monster. I guess. Benny shrugged in a non-committal manner. I hadn't noticed it until you pointed it out. Harry gave a laugh, head shaking as he let out a whistle. Imagine having a dick that size there. Not that it'd be any good. No one could take something like that inside him. I know, right? Benny sounded hysterical, and his boss turned to throw him a look of concern, an eyebrow rising. Are you sure you're okay? Yeah, 100% I'm fine, yeah. Harry seemed unconvinced. Listen, this big old boy isn't for the shop. There's a private customer coming to pick it up at 2 a.m. Make sure it's here ready for me to hand it to him. A private customer, Benny frowned. Listen, just make sure it's here. Harry was suddenly on edge. We don't want to upset these people. These people? Harry winced, glanced about, and then turned to meet his gaze once more. Have you ever heard of Anatoly Dubravka? Anna who? For fuck's sake, Harry hissed, glancing about once more. You don't want to go shouting about the Russian mob. Keep it down. The Russian mob? Benny matched the low tone of his boss. Why is the mob guy buying sausage from us? Who knows, Harry groaned. Maybe he's having a family dinner. Maybe he owns a restaurant. I don't have a clue. Just have the fucking bratwurst ready, okay? Sure, okay, Benny nodded. Sorry. I know, look, sorry, dude. Harry reached out and clasped her hand to his shoulder, squeezing gently as he sighed. You do a great job. Thank you. You can trust me. Benny smiled at him. Good man. Harry threw him a wink as he headed back to the plastic flaps, his voice loud as he passed through and out of sight. Remember, 2 a.m. Benny waited until the dull echo of his footsteps had faded away, and then groaned as behind him the Russian bratwurst chuckled softly. Ha ha! I thought he'd never leave us alone. Wait, come on, trousers down. We've only got 2 a.m. That gives us 2 hours. Fuck off, Ivan. Benny shook his head. I'm a changed man. You're not going near my arsehole. But does he? You'll have to read the book to find out. It is completely fucking batshit, to be honest. And I've got no idea uh, what prompted me to write it at all. Uh, he says, yeah, it's not loosely based on taking the mick out of a friend of mine who isn't called Benny, but maybe called something like it. Uh, and yeah, it's and obviously there's obvious dicks at Harry Astor because he makes my shit itch, basically. Uh, yeah, but yeah. So if you've basically got no taste in books and you want to laugh, check out Zombie Bratwurst in the Daddy Hole of Death. It's absolutely fucking bonkers, full of violence and bratwurst. Yeah, thank you.